think we're good. All right, guys, we are back. This is session 7 of the Elysian Theta Codex, or just Elysian Theta
Elysian
Codex? I always
doesn't
forget.
matter.
Either one.
Elysian Theta Codex.
ETC session 7.
ETC, I like that.
There you go. Of Elysian. There you go. So, we're running a little late. I was late, and I had to do some odd stuff. So, Jimmy, take it away if you want to go around the table or you want to dive right in. It's up to you. Actually, give us an update on your situation.
Yeah, everybody, check out my...
Super sweet.
And what you can't see underneath this is a wicked scar about yay long, maybe 4 inches long from the base of my palm down halfway down my arm.
From bear wrestling?
Underneath that, I'm getting ready for our robot overlords by becoming one of them. I have a big metal plate in my arm from breaking my my forearm in 2 places.
Was it bear wrestling? I thought you were lion hunting.
So there's only mountain lions out in Wyoming, but
which are overpopulated, guys. It's totally fine.
Guys, here's how strong I am. All right, there is a black bear charging me, and I'm right-handed, which is for most of there. But I'm right-handed. This is my right hand, but I couldn't think quickly, so I swung a nasty left hook, knocked the bear away. And just because it was my left, I broke my arm. Just think about what would have happened if I used my right. No, so it's the day before the wedding. I was there for a wedding, and I was a groomsman. And I was hanging out with all the other groomsmen. We were playing like a little casual game in a field, like a little athletic. It's kind of like volleyball. And my cousin, who was there, missed the last shot to make us lose the game, and he was on his hands and knees going like, no, and I go, no, and I plant my hands on him to somersault over him. A very
barbaric
I've done for years. I mean, I've been doing this shit for years, like goofing off or whatever, and I think it was because I was just gonna leap over him, but kind of started going, and I was like, I guess I'm somersaulting, and yeah, I jammed my hand on the ground, except it wasn't jammed, it was horribly disfigured when I looked at it. I did not think I hurt it that bad. Luckily...
So I have to ask the obvious
I somersaulted,
question.
And I broke my hand in 2 places.
I have to ask the obvious question. Was alcohol a factor?
No!
Oh, then
Travis
that's...
Asking
it was like 11:30 in the morning. I mean...
So, it was?
So, all around... So, I broke my radius, so it was like... Let's see if I can get this in the camera right. My wrist went up like this, down like this, and then my hand went back straight. Like, my radius was at a 45-degree angle, split in half. It did not break the skin, thankfully. Luckily, all the groomsmen and the groom himself, who is another one of my cousins, they are all medical residents. One was an ER resident. There was an orthopedist resident who was there.
So you had that shit fixed before you even left the
work.
work.
Well, they take me to the hospital, and it got set, but it was a bad enough break that the doctor said that you should do surgery, and if you're going to do surgery, you should do it as soon as possible. And since it's Jackson Hole, Wyoming, at the base of the Grand Tetons, there's a lot of extreme sports there, so it has, and there are a lot of rich people, so it has, world-class orthopedic surgeons around. So I was like, well, I guess if I had to break something, I should take care of it there. So
yeah, I mean, you couldn't have picked a better place.
I can't really screen share a picture of the surgery, but I have a nice picture of the plate getting installed when I was unconscious. And actually, just the other day, I took one because some of my stitches were pulling, so I took off the wrap and the cast, and because it's just gauze holding a plate in place, it's soft everywhere else. And I got a nice picture of the really nasty incision that I have all sewed up. It's big and it's all bruised and yellow around there. It's good. So that happened. And then I hiked, a couple days later, I hiked over 2 days, a combined, 16 miles. So, made the best of it. It was nice. But I've monopolized the time. But let's go around the horn really quickly and say what's new. So, Travis, you're first on my list.
Boy, what's new? God, not a whole lot for me actually. I've been kind of training up. I am doing a Tough Mudder in September,
Nice.
and I hope not to hurt myself like Jimmy did, though it's a distinct possibility. And yeah, just trying to not freak out about that because it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be quite a thing.
Sweet.
Yeah, not a lot from me.
Cool. Josh?
I've been pretty much sick the last weekend, so trying to get over it.
Bummer.
So I've practically done nothing but spend my entire couple of days in my bed trying to get over this.
That doesn't sound that terrible. I mean, the fact that you're able to
Sleeping
lay
is
up.
nice.
No, because it's boring as hell.
Well, that's what the internet's for.
That only goes so far.
It's just very true. Allison, what's new? You just got back to Con recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to Gen Con.
Nice.
That is something you can see on my Twitter, and I'll talk about offline because we're starting late. But other than that, I'm house/dog sitting right now, so I'm in a different place. As you can see behind me, it's not the same. And I've just been grilling and watching a lot of Netflix, and that's about it.
Apparently you just learned to grill, too.
Yeah, I just learned to grill impromptu. I was like,
It's like the weirdest thing I've ever
fuck it,
heard.
do it live. I'm just gonna go buy some salmon and some corn and do stuff with it
Have
and
at
put
it,
it on the grill and hope it works. And it was delicious. So
Well, that's good because I know some people who are just like, I don't know how to grill. Do you want to learn? No.
yeah, I like looked.
No.
I decided that I was like,
Says
I
that.
googled like how to grill salmon to figure out general times, and like everything was saying different things, and I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm tired of this. Like every site says something different. I'm just gonna figure it out myself and hope it works, and it did. So
Nice.
delicious.
I do have one question. Are you NDA'd on the Epic, or can you?
No, I can
you
talk about it. Yeah, I'll talk
Okay.
about it offline though.
Awesome. I do want to hear about that.
Kevin, you're drunker than a skunk.
Not that batch.
Not
Too
that
bad.
much, guys.
Really, you guys could like use another character besides Marjorie, whoever's at the PC controls is quite drunk going in. I think it would
Hey.
start some interest. No, I just mean it would start some interesting dynamics going on. Everyone's very agreeable with each other right now.
So far. This last weekend, I was at a wedding. I stood as best man to an old college roommate. It was a good wedding. It was beautiful. And I'm recovering from that whole weekend.
Yay,
So-
recovery.
Yeah. It was good. It was good though. And yeah, I got back from a lunch party at work today and had a few beers, and now I'm here. So I'm sipping on some water.
So
Cool.
what
Have
was
a
it?
beer
Was
later.
it the party for Windows 10?
It was, yeah.
Ah.
We had a bunch of stuff there. We had some food, some drinks. Macklemore was there.
Macklemore,
Just casually, like, yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah, whatever.
you know, like cheeses, Macklemore, you know.
It was good. It was fun. It's still pretty hot up here. We've had a really warm summer.
Today was cloudy and 72 degrees in Virginia. It was lovely.
I
Yeah,
wish
it was,
I could
like, dark all
wish we could
day.
go down to that temperature. It's hitting high 80s, low 90s consistently the last like 3 weeks.
Right now, Josh is on Google, like, convert to Celsius.
No.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I got
multitasking.
my T-Rex Windows shirt. There we go.
That's sick, actually.
Yeah, that's cute.
I like that.
Nice.
So, yeah, let's get into it. Fuck it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Where are you guys?
We are staying in a village, and we survived the night, even though there were earthquakes.
Yeah, and I think we're on Thorkatla? Metanira.
Metanira, yeah, it's in the Thorkatla system, and Metanira is the planet. Cool. What are you guys doing? So you're in a village.
We're mud farmers! We're farming mud!
Yeah, you're digging up and collecting mud, because that's apparently worth
Apparently that's
a crate load of
The wrong
pharmaceuticals.
notebook. Where's my notes?
Yeah, so you guys are on the planet Metanira, a TL level 2 planet, actually. It looks rather Stone Age to you, but you guys, if you remember, have noticed, especially around the village, that they seem to not have metals in any way,
Got
but they do have some
metal.
pretty impressive engineering in terms of stone and wood.
That's right. They haven't gone to the Bronze
You've
Age
seen
yet.
gear-operated like well diggers or things that have automated, like using like water turbines to like lift up, hoist water up. You know, like a stream will like do things like, or they have mills. It looks pretty advanced for their clear. There's some sort of deficiency, although you guys haven't really explored it at all. What's the planet like? You guys remember?
It is fucking hot and
tropical
earthquakey.
jungle.
Yes, it's most of it is jungle. It is it's a humid, fairly dense atmosphered jungle that is teeming with life. If you remember, the planet has over 1 billion inhabitants. Apparently, it's an enormous planet too. So, yeah. So you guys are mud farmers. So you
You're mud
collected
Oh boy.
crate of mud. Do you remember who you dealt with in the village?
We had Oleg. He
The
is
Cole clans and
Yes.
Flaily.
Yeah, so you have Oleg, who's a factor or a
Yes.
contact who is charged with getting to know the natives and sort of formulating a
not very
business
helpful.
relationship. And he's somehow related to the captain of the ship you guys are on.
Koali was the little girl who's the eldest daughter of the chief.
Right, not a little girl; she's a grown woman.
Oh, is she? Oh, oops.
She is a daughter.
Jimmy, can you roll for hotness? I'm not sure we ever rolled for hotness.
Oh, Jesus
Roll
Christ.
for hotness. I don't have a scale, so I'm gonna roll 2d6. Average.
Oops, I'm doing that in long campaign.
If you're into the native thing, like she's got curves and muscles, like she's muscular, like so it depends on your definition of beauty.
So we're going. So 2d6 will skew towards average. 3d6 would be like player stats. Okay.
A little bit above
cute.
average. Stands though, it depends on what you're into.
Yeah.
It's quality.
If you like the hairy leg tribal woman. Type.
Yeah, like calloused hands and weather-beaten face and like unkempt hair that's probably cut fairly short because it's more functional in the jungle. So, yeah. So that's Quali. Do you remember the chieftain's name?
Someone had him.
Possibly.
I cannot find my notes. I have no idea why.
I think Allison said it before.
I don't have his
it written.
name. Is it Flaily? I have I wrote the Cole clans and Flaily ?
Laley?
Flaily.
Spell that?
Phalange.
Flaily.
I do not have it.
I don't think you spelled it out. I was just
He
guessing.
doesn't even have a flag.
Yeah, there's Quali. There's okay. So there's
He
chieftain.
doesn't have
His name is Balam. You guys know that.
Oh,
You know that about the society that they're not welcoming to outsiders, and in particular, you've come across an antagonistic priest or a priest-looking guy.
Oh,
Witch
that's
doctor.
right.
His name was Xocotl, or Xocotl.
That is not how I was gonna spell that.
Yeah, like it's like a Oaxaca. That's that X.
Ah.
If you know that, that's spelled OX. Oaxaca. So Xocotl. Yeah. So Quali and Xocotl, you've seen other people. You haven't introduced yourselves. Yeah. So they seem to, in general, either keep you at a distance, or as for the priests, seem somewhat very close to coming to blows with you. But you know that also that the Ko clans, which is this particular village, is pretty pragmatic. So they're probably the most welcoming to outsiders. But you don't really know what motivates them or why this
Well,
deal is going down. Why they would
We're
let you.
trading metal and medicine.
Right.
Um,
But mainly the medicine, the pharmaceuticals. Although,
yeah, the metal was for help, I think.
as far as you can tell, you don't know. You haven't seen anybody sick yet. So it's interesting. Like, there's maybe more to look into there. Yeah. So Cool. I think that's a pretty good background. Any other questions?
What did we end up doing with the lizard we killed?
Eating it right then and there.
It was the tribal members had an interesting reaction to it. They took it away somewhere, and you don't know what, but you at least earned enough respect that you got a hut for the night to
Yeah.
go down.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and I think I'd probably have like the claw like hanging across the front of my armor.
yeah, okay. You
So I like hacked
a
off
bloody claw, like it's like you stink of like iron from this fairly large. I'd say it's about
Yeah.
you know
Well, I mean, I'm
4 or 5 inch
hanging it.
claw.
Yeah, I'm hanging it by the part that I hacked off, so it's not like dumping blood.
No, I know, but you didn't wash it or anything, did you?
Oh no, of course not.
No. Okay, good. Excellent.
You're like, awesome. Roll me a fortitude save.
No, you
You have
have to do a bit more kicking around to
Margie turns into a lizard woman during the night.
penis. Yeah. So why don't we do a quick cutscene before we get started? So the cameras. It's night and there's horrible loud sounds that maybe have kept you guys up throughout the night or wake you up occasionally of croaking and screeching, and the insects are really bad. They don't really have mosquito netting, or if they did, they didn't really give you any. It's not
Awesome.
very happy, but you're bunkered down. Oleg is snoring loudly. He seems used to the climate here more than you guys do. But it's like everyone's asleep at the moment. It's maybe 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and the camera actually lifts out and leaves the hut and goes across the other side of the village where there's a flat, a very large stone table with carvings in it. And there seems to be a group of men who are encircled around and bowing on this tablet, whatever it is. And you notice that the tablet has a giant crack through the center, so at some point it had split in half. And they appear to be praying or chanting something you guys can't understand, or if you were awake, you couldn't understand it. And we zoom out there, and we actually go up and fly over the jungle, many, many miles away. You don't know how far. And there's a river, and as you approach the river, the camera starts to follow along it and approaches towers of stone and similar construction that you would see in this village, but clearly a much more prosperous and advanced city. And there seems to be a circling of structures, tall, very intricately carved battlements with, I guess their equivalent of gargoyles, which is probably the thing you killed, so these giant lizard things, around this keep, or this series of keeps that encircle something. Can't make it out in the dark. So, and you guys are awoken about half an hour later for a violent shaking. So, what are your reactions? Why don't we
Is it an earthquake?
why don't we roll? Everyone take a roll of some sort of athletics check, perhaps. What is?
Physical
Should I
save,
have to
maybe?
open my
Or an evasion save?
Yeah. Why does everyone give me a physical save?
Give
Oh,
me a
God.
moment to open my character sheet. I completely forgot that the character sheet's like Google
Okay,
Drive.
so physical.
Shit, why did I suggest my worst save? Are you sure this isn't a
So
tech
you
save?
just roll a flat 20, Maddie, and you need a 12 or better.
It's totally a tech save.
Give me a
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
What am I? I'm making a
You picked a
physical
good
save.
one for me too.
Wait, so we're rolling a straight d20 and we're trying to beat?
You're trying to get equal to or greater than. Yours is 12 as well as a
Right.
warrior.
Ooh.
So you're okay, and you're okay. Okay. The two warriors feel it shaking and immediately spring into a crouch, and actually both of you just back into corners. You get it, it's an earthquake's happening. You back into corners of the
That's right.
room and hope that there's nothing that's going to fall from the roof. So
I'm
you
back
guys are,
into the triangle zone.
yeah, exactly.
triangle of
You,
safety.
you find the nearest thing to that in this small hut.
Margie gets hit by falling debris.
Rock
Okay,
skull.
so Margie
Asteroids.
jerks awake and tries to stand and face plants because the world, you're just totally
Yep.
groggy. You finally got to sleep. You're exhausted, and the world just takes your feet away, and you face plant. You're not hurt or anything, but You do have maybe like a very sore and bloody nose now, like, and Leon, Leon, uh, you, I mean, it's just the same deal. You get up, and you actually like can't find your balance and just stumble around and run into like the wall, and maybe you bump into Maddie on your way, and then kind of actually
Hey.
tumble out the
Hey.
door of the hut and just fall into the street. And you see like out in the dim pre-morning light that there's like not many other people out and about, but it's a pretty violent earthquake going on. There's some buildings that are taking some minor damage. They seem to be pretty resistant, though.
Can I attempt to
They're
tumble
built to
roll
shift,
to make
even though
myself?
they're just laid stone.
Like, can I attempt to tumble roll so I don't look like an idiot?
No, you've fallen. You look like an idiot.
Yeah.
You've fallen and you can't get
Well,
up.
it's dark. Who knows what people think, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
but that's all that happens. It subsides after about a minute, and it doesn't seem to have caused anything terrible. But it was a lot bigger than anything we've experienced yet.
Son of a bitch. Oleg, does that happen very often?
Oh shit!
Oh,
Hold on one second. That's true.
Roll for Orleg.
Oh no, Oleg,
Tekla.
he had gotten up and actually just like was slammed into the wall, and he's like cradling his cheek where he's gonna have a nasty shiner at some point.
yeah.
Like, oh, and just he's groaning. Yes, it happens all the fucking time. He just sort of. Oh.
Yeah,
Is
I'm
this
like,
like a
I'm pinching my nose,
weekly
looking
thing?
around. Is Tekla alright?
Yeah, Tekla wasn't in the room at the
She's
moment.
good.
Yeah, so I look around, I'm like, where'd Tekla go?
I'll find her.
Runs out.
Grasp for
Like,
things
Oleg
to
just
get up.
like stamping on his clothes and like cursing in some like maybe Polish, who knows? Yes, look. Oh, okay. Well, I guess no more sleep for us. We have much to do today.
What?
Such
we only
as?
got a few hours.
Digging.
It's not
Waste
even.
not,
It's not
wants
even
not,
up.
and daylight comes early here.
Oh,
Is the sun up?
It looks like it's brightening. It's not dawn yet though, but it can't be that far off, even though it's only like 4:30 in the morning.
All right.
Yeah, so
Let
I'm, like,
me when the
wiping
sun's
my
actually up then.
I will go attempt to find Tekla, and if I have to, I'll use my awesome binoculars to help me.
I'm doing 5 more minutes.
So you're laying back down. Marjorie, what are you doing?
yeah, so I'm like, I'm like pinching my nose, and I say, you know, I'll fire up the scanners on the truck in case Leon has some trouble. And then I'm starting her up. Let's get off this fucking mud ball.
Cool. So yeah, if you guys can still see the schematics for the truck, right? We should be.
Yeah, so it's got some advanced sensors. Can I do a check for fuck it, I just comms Tekla. Dee-dee-dee.
You hear. Yeah, that was a bad one, wasn't it? And actually, like, you hear an echo too, because you hear her voice, like, maybe 2 huts away.
Oh yeah. I close it and I'm like, oh yeah, that wasn't so fun, as I'm like wiping blood off. Were you checking the truck or something? I was worried you were knocked out like Leon was. You should've-
Excuse me? I'm not knocked out.
Knocked out of the building.
She quirks an eyebrow at your like holding your nose a little bit, and is like, I got up a bit ago and was keeping an eye out. There were men, villagers. I don't know. They were going off somewhere in the whatever they do. It seemed routine, but I felt that someone needed to be awake.
Good thinking. You know, they seem on the up and up, but can't be too cautious.
So you guys have a ton of cargo, and right now it's loaded with a ton of some sort of muddy soil that looked different from the rest of the soil. Or it's inherently grainy. It clearly had some sort of silicate-like crystals, and apparently it's valuable in producing
Yeah, so it's kind of silty.
Pharmaceuticals? We don't know.
Yeah.
It's silty,
Pharm-
yes.
Pharmaceuticals, drugs,
Something.
WFDs, whatever. Mustard gas.
You
it's
haven't
fine.
taken your chemistry kit to it yet, so you don't really know what it could be for.
Yeah. I don't have a chemistry kit, so yeah, I
There
I
you
look
go.
around and I say, well, should we get our drive on, unload this, and then see if we can move the ship a little closer to wherever our next target is?
There was
Tekla
still
shrugs
some
and
more
says,
stuff to
apparently
say.
that swamp is the best spot, and there's definitely more to dig out there. That's the only spot that Oleg let us know about, but we can try and clear out an area. The jungle is pretty dense.
I mean,
Yeah,
See if the
but
ship can get closer.
as I head over there, I mean, if we can get it to a safe level of hovering, I can. If we can rig some like I don't know a hose or a suction or a pulley, we could potentially just lift it up there.
Tekla stifles a chuckle and looks at you, Margie, and just shakes her head.
I
Think
do the
everything
same
can
thing. Like,
just come out of it. It's heavy mud. This isn't some liquid, and I don't even know if we have the makeshift tools to do something like that.
I mean,
well, I know the ship's got a cargo winch. Couldn't hurt to fill boxes, winch up, winch down. Might not be the quickest thing, but I mean, if we have to travel a few hours each way by truck,
Yeah, Tekla shrugs and is like, worth a try, I guess. We
All
want
right.
to get in touch. What do you want to do now? You're leading
Well,
the charge, and you got us here in the first place, so.
yeah, well, we got a full truck. We might as well drive back and unload it. Can always discuss with the captain or Virgil. Never know, they might have other ideas too.
Okay. Yeah, she
All
nods
right.
and says,
I lean in and say, Oleg, Maddie, let's load up, eh?
yeah.
Oleg had just like laid back down. I was like, son of bitch! I thought we were sleeping more.
oh, get up
no,
already.
rise and shine.
Yeah,
You guys
I
are
would
I
get
need to
up
get
and
off
do
this
things.
fucking planet.
Hey, we'll take you with us if you can pay whatever airfare the captain wants. We got the room.
He spits and is like, if the pay wasn't so good, I would, but I get a lot. I'd be able to retire in 3 years after this posting.
Really?
Just make sure you don't get too rumbled up in the meantime.
Well, fuck yourself, lady.
I just,
So yeah, you guys can start wrapping up, and by the time you're ready to go,
Yeah, I'm starting
it's probably like pre-dawn light. You've enough light to see.
Sure. Yeah, I mean the truck's got lights or whatever. So
Mhm. Yeah, it does.
cool. I look around the group and I say, well, I mean we got the location. Any of you want to say bye to Quali or?
I would say goodbye to Quali.
Yeah, you'll have to go walk around the village and find her.
there's
I
no
would,
guarantee
yeah, I
that
would
we'll
do that. I
find
would take
her.
a couple minutes and try and find her, and if I can't, then just move on. It's not the worst
Yep.
day of my life if I can't.
Cool. So is everyone going, or are you just going by yourself?
She was helpful, so why not?
I think I'd go. I say, if anyone's staying back, get the electronics fired up and double check the scanners. I want to make sure we're good to go.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can.
Beep boop, beep 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 boop.
Selfie, what are you doing?
Thanks, Leon.
Staying.
Staying.
Tekla brings you a mug of something hot.
Yes. I drink it. What do
Yeah,
I
it's.
taste?
Blood.
This is the blood
Okay,
from
so
Quali I
warm
just
blood.
took.
20. Roll me a d20.
This is Quali's blood I just got.
Roll me a d20 real quick.
Okay. 19.
Yeah, so it is. It tastes like a combination of dark chocolate and something like coffee, but less bitter, maybe. Like, it's incredibly wholesome and delicious and immediately energizes you.
What is this?
She shrugs and says, it's what they take their breakfast with around here. managed to swipe a bit on one of the younger gentlemen in the huts over yonder. He seemed interested in my weapons.
Do we have more to take back with us?
You can look around.
This is good
I
stuff.
love
I
how
had mine, and now this one's for you.
ignores every double entendre that's possible.
I imagine that's like
wants this
Kevin
chocolate.
IRL.
Yeah, it's like a chocolate caffeine thing. It's awesome.
So they're really
It's
like
really
Hawaiians.
thick too, and think like Cuban coffee style. Like
Yes, have that every day.
Never had that, but I believe you.
Cuban coffee is notoriously dark and thick, black
Oh.
coffee.
Yeah.
Like, oh
No,
yeah.
no thanks.
I prefer Colombian myself.
Okay, so you guys are chatting. Yeah, you guys head off into the village further. You're on the outskirts, so you're exploring. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like suited up in my armor, slung my rifle, but yeah, I've still got the I put like the makeshift cord or whatever that I rigged up with the claw, and yeah, we're walking around looking for Quali. Did we get any idea when we were talking to him last, like kind of where the village elder or chieftain or whatever?
You guys have been pretty reluctant to involve yourself in the village. Like they've
Yeah.
fed you and feasted you, apparently.
Yeah,
They
we
put you
worked
on the
out with
outskirts
you.
of town. You haven't followed him anywhere, or like you haven't really explored the town much. Like you were just like, let's get our business going. Like
Yep. Yeah, so I guess we're looking around, and I would just kind of assume the largest or most decorated hut would probably be his,
Cool.
logically speaking.
yeah, Balaam. Yeah, and remember Quali's the eldest daughter. Yeah, so that's a logical place. You walk into the village further, and it actually spreads out pretty quickly. Like it drops down a slight incline where you guys have been up, and pretty quickly you can see that they're fairly prosperous. There's fields that are irrigated, looks like automatically in some way, but you can't tell how without exploring it more, like the timing mechanism. But they have low like channels of wood, or it actually looks like wood joists with their flat wooden pails, but the wood seems I don't know, water resistant in some way. Like whatever wood they have is really good at not soaking up all the water that's running, and it has like a sprinkler system basically. Just like you run water through it and it spreads water, and it's
Yeah,
maybe and there's some sort of crop growing, doing well.
nice.
As you go further in, you can see larger buildings too, and even 3-story structures of some sort.
Oh,
It's pretty quiet, except you see women in the door frames, clearly getting the morning meal going.
Yeah.
And at every point, every house you pass, they stop and stare at you. Then
I give them like a smile, polite like nod when I pass by.
just dead stare. Not
I
wave
hostile, but
awkwardly.
not. It's like they don't have.
Like- Yeah, neutral look, right? They're not angry.
They don't look happy. I can't. It's hard to tell. You don't know what their cultural. Then maybe they're a culture that prides non-expressiveness, right? You
Yep.
haven't really. Yeah. So
Could I go up to the least? I guess if they don't look happy and they don't necessarily look hostile, the least hostile looking one, and I reach into my pack, and I go into my climbing harness, and I unclip like a carabiner, like just a simple metal, carabiner, and I go up to one of them and I ask, Quali?
she looks. Are you handing her the carabiner?
I've got it in my hand. It's like hidden in my hand, and I just ask her.
When she sees you approaching, she actually looks startled for a second, and like she's about to back away. But then you get
I
close
like
enough.
raise my hand.
Yeah, she
come
stops,
slowly.
and she actually eyes the tooth at your chest, and looks cross-eyed.
Like paw.
Yeah,
Paw.
the hand or whatever at your chest, and looks cross-eyed at it, and looks peeved, but stares at you and says something rapidly that you don't understand. You catch Quali in there.
Could I make some kind of? Because I basically want to hand motion like where?
Sure. I mean, you can
Yeah.
just do that. Say like quali.
Quali
Yeah.
there. Quali there.
She crosses her arms and says something else, and then points in the direction you guys have been walking.
Okay. And I say thank you and give a bow, and I hand her the carabiner.
Okay. Yeah, she reaches out confused, takes the carabiner, and when she touches it, she drops it and looks horrified and looks up at you and runs inside and slams the door. And the carabiner's on the ground there.
I kind of look down, look at Maddie, and I'm
I
like,
just kind of point at the door like,
yeah, so that was weird.
onward, I guess.
Yeah, I like pick it up and I
Okay.
kind of look around like because there are other women around. How are they reacting?
Dropping everything
the ones
and
nearby
running.
that see it look equally shocked, and then when you look around, they get busy about their business.
Okay.
I feel not.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, the ones like very close, maybe the next door neighbor does that. Everyone else looked a little more confused, like they didn't see what was handed off or what could have provoked that reaction. But
Okay. Well, I like pick it back up and I say, well, hopefully she's this way and
Yeah.
she's being nice to us. I'm not. I'm just gonna
No
put this
idea
back
what's
in my
going on.
pocket. So yeah, I head in the direction she indicated.
AKA where we've been going.
cool, Leon, are you doing anything?
Just going beep beep beep, going, what the hell is taking them so long?
Yeah, so it's a good question.
They've been gone like a
They're
minute.
gone. Yeah, they've been gone a couple minutes, but it's another 5 or 10 minutes to walk. Like it's a pretty, and it gets more crowd there. There clearly is like a shopping area district. There's some damage in this area from clearly the morning's earthquake, but it seems
Yeah.
to be more of informal lean-tos or things that are temporarily set up in like a market square type area, and that they've collapsed and tables have spilled out some sort of vegetables or slabs of meat onto the ground and are being picked up as you guys walk on. Like clearly, like not meant to be permanent. You don't see any structural damage around, and eventually you do find what is around the center of town, or clearly nearby it is. You see a giant, and we're talking 50 yards across, so like 50 meters across, Josh, more or less. Stone tablet laid on the ground, and it's unclear about whether it was placed there and buried somewhat, or whether it is stone that was already there and was cleared away and carved. And there's carvings on it, very beautiful. And it's actually inlaid with jewels in various spots. You can see them already in the sort of beginnings of light glinting in. The stone itself too is very pretty, like a dark gray towards blue marble, perhaps. Like it's got veins. It's very pretty, and it's carved, and it's split down the middle. And you can
Is it
see
the Ten Commandments?
maybe it's their 10 Commandments. Who knows? But there's clearly people of the priest class you recognize from their ceremonial wear. They're actually nude completely, but it's
Oh.
but they've got body painting on and big masks, terrifying like wooden masks that are painted. But they're not doing anything. They're kind of just like bowed and on their knees with their arms at their hips and just sort of staring downwards, meditating.
So I like elbow Maddie and I say, well, I'll give this nasty jungle 1 credit. Seems everyone keeps in pretty good shape, eh?
It's got some, what do they call that? What's that word? Yeah, bling? Got some bling going on here in the
Oh, you're
middle of
looking
nowhere.
at the table thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah?
You can clearly,
Anyways.
you can clearly see some dude's junk, like maybe 20 feet in front
Yeah, I was
of you.
gonna say there's like a bunch of naked men.
Whatever.
Okay.
I'm busy trying to find someone. Okay.
Maddie, tell me what you. Why don't you make a? You've got religion, don't you? You're a religious type of person. Yeah.
Uh,
Roll me a religious skill.
just straight
2D,
two
yeah,
d
2d6, and it's well, if you
Probably.
It had a
this
zero,
needs to
didn't
be
it?
intelligence or wisdom, but I would let you take either. But they're both no mod anyway, so just roll me a flat 2d6.
I was gonna say it's just flat, shouldn't it be?
7. Okay, so you clearly recognize their shoulders and rising in a way that indicates deep meditative breathing. You've heard about these practices, and they're clearly surrounding something in the center. Or what they're doing seems to be part of like a ritual you would recognize to be like a monastic part of what their like the daily hours would be. Like if you know anything about
Okay.
monastic hours, where they have different times a day where you perform different prayers and
Yeah.
rites, etc.
Okay.
This looks to be part of that. Clearly
Interesting.
religious, clearly significant. There's nobody else around the table, and in fact, everybody else. This is kind of like a main central area. Everybody else is ignoring or completely overlooking like whatever's going on at this table, which is clearly the center of town, is not there or is not going on.
I mentioned these things to what the fuck is your name? Maggie? Marjorie. Sorry, I had to think about it. I was like,
You're Maddie. I'm Margie.
something.
My next character is not going to be named anything close to what you guys are.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
So you're going to be Dana, and then Josh will die and be Dawn, and then
And I say, this is
Then
why
Dave, and
Ina
then Diana.
no we named Ren.
We'll have a girl named Dawn and a guy named Don.
yeah.
please
It's
no.
funny. I actually have that as coworkers, and it's pretty funny. Don
The
or Don?
worst.
Dawn. Okay.
Yeah.
yes.
What do you say? Sorry, Maddie.
Everything I just relayed to Maddie for
Yeah,
her skill
basically
check.
your
You're just
repeat.
she's like speaking low
Yeah.
under
So
your ear while you're checking out their carved ass cheeks.
mhm. I kind
Yeah,
of
look at
tear
those
my
ass
eyes,
cheeks.
tear my eyes away, and I say, we should maybe go around, take a wider path.
I mean, I guess.
These guys were kind of assholes yesterday, and I don't think them coming out of a prayer after an earthquake. If this thing wasn't cracked before, and they get all, it was the outsiders,
That makes sense. All right, we'll take a little bit of a wider.
Well, you
path.
don't have to walk far on because once you tear your eyes away from the spectacle in the center, you can see a walled compound that is clearly the nicest structure you've seen.
All right.
Mostly wood, not stone. Beautiful veined wood. It's actually some of it has a greener tint to it. Whatever the wood is they use, giant lumber. It took a lot of man effort to get this, and it's got a small, more decorative and symbolic than actual purposeful wall, like a compound wall built around this manor house. You probably think this looks like someplace a chieftain would live.
This looks like where the chieftain would live. I think.
I agree. I'm also getting that vibe. Yeah. Let's go in and I don't know, knock.
I guess that's a polite thing to do. I don't really know what
Yeah,
else to do.
So you walk. There's no gate. There's no metal. So there's a gate. There's a like a vine-covered archway. Pretty flowers on it growing. You can actually see them opening up as the sunlight rays. So clearly they're like they open in the morning.
Live flowers.
Kind of like morning glories, if you will, like open in
This
the morning.
ain't some Michaels type shit. You didn't buy this at a store. This is real. So
Yes.
okay.
So you
Pretty
spread the
nice.
vines and walk in and.
Yeah,
nobody around.
I
There's a
actually
house.
I knock like lightly on the doorway. I'm
So
not
there's
gonna
no
just barge in.
so the stone the wall where the archway I just described has
Yep.
no door there. It's
I know.
just-
I'm knocking
you
on
knock-
the archway.
so it's stone. You knock. There's
Oh.
nobody around. You don't see anything.
Hello. Hello.
It's not barred or anything.
Housekeeping?
So I don't know.
Drop your pillow.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chieftain, no here. No.
Chieftain coming
Consuelo.
out? Yeah,
Which is
yeah
like-
the priest appears in front of you. And says, the chieftain is no longer with us. No, it's I don't know. Proceed.
I-
Don't proceed. It's
call
open.
in and say,
Proceed.
hello? Is anyone in here?
Yeah, if you're peeking your head inside it, there's a a well that has some sort of gearworks, wooden gearworks carved that clearly makes the lifting of water easy. There's clearly a floral garden, like flowers. Somebody's caring for a lot of flowers around here, and they're very beautiful and exotic. You've only seen the like on your home planet, Travis. Which
Wow.
in a way this is somewhat familiar. If you remember, your planet is a wild and untamed sort of place. Do you
Yeah.
remember that? Yeah,
So.
some of this the exoticness of this is different but familiar to you. Like
Okay, so it's not like the same, because you know.
no, you're not a jungle planet, but it is
Oh God, no, no.
not at all. But just like extremities, bright colors, things that have an edge of wildness to them in a way that a TL4 planet does not, or a space station.
Yeah, I look around and I'm like, damn, this is pretty. I'd like it here if it wasn't so fucking hot.
That's true. Yeah, it's not so pleasant here. My armor is not the best for this. Skin tight, etc.
Yeah.
But other
yeah.
than the garden, some clearly like
Yeah, I'm like if we're walking in and looking around, I'm calling as we go. Like I don't want someone to walk out and be surprised that we're here. Yeah, I'm trying to make our presence obvious.
okay, you still don't get a response or anything.
Okay.
You do see
Just gonna walk up to the
not
damn
a
door.
vehicle, but a wheeled thing. Clearly, like a cart type thing. It's
Like a wheelbarrow or a
yeah, and it's got actually something soft around the wheels. You can only think it's some variation on rubber. So
Yeah, I kind of like poke
That's
it a
the
little
first-
bit.
yeah, it feels like a softer rubber. It would be useful for pushing around and getting jostled because it has some cushioning to it. Think about like a more foamy version of rubber.
Does it look like? I'm trying to decide if Marjorie would be interested at all. Yeah, she's kind of a scientist.
Well, you're interested. You're also calling out. So you're gonna stop calling and go investigate, or you're gonna keep walking forward.
Nah, like I'm looking for the people. I guess I don't care that much.
You can look. Who knows?
I kind of
Yeah.
like poke it, like, oh, nice, they're doing pretty well here for not having metal. And yeah, I'm like calling around. I'm kind of taking in the flowers and the scenery.
Off to the side, there's clearly the WC, the little outhouse that's politely dug at the corner of a compound.
The WC?
Water closet. Yo,
I have never heard that before.
you've never seen that? It's like on.
It's a very
British
German thing.
British thing.
It's
a
a thing,
European
it basically
thing.
means
It's a
toilet.
European and
It's a toilet.
No, no.
Water closet.
Yeah,
The bathroom.
I know what WC is.
Because he's Australian, and that's where they sent all their
Ooh.
prisoners a long
There's
time
shit-
ago.
Hey,
Out back.
hey, don't go there.
I thought the English called it the head.
That actually comes.
The loo.
That's actually the head is a naval term.
Thing for the Navy.
You know, yeah,
Oh.
you're right. Okay, yeah, so I'm clearing out. Unless Maddie disagrees, I think we're clearing out this compound and confirming that no one
Yeah.
is here.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, you have the house itself, the actual manor house that you can walk up to. The front door is slightly ajar.
Knock, knock, knock. Hello?
I would not actually go in the front door. I don't think I would not. I would say I don't want to get stabbed.
You
for
hear so
walking in.
roll me a perception check real quick, just
Sure.
so we can put a little.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
chance to
jar,
this rather
which I-
than. Let's
So
see
what
what you
is-
you knock and call into the house somewhat softer.
Both of us rolling perception.
Mm-mm.
Oh, just him.
You said you stayed away from the door, so
Well, no, I said I wouldn't go in.
well, Margie knocked, so just her.
Okay.
She's closest.
So I think I'm at a 0. Sorry, haven't done this in a while. PPP
It's perception
I'm at a
and it's
negative.
wisdom based.
It's wisdom based, yeah.
0.
No, I just go up, knock, knock, knock.
You
Hello?
hear some. So you hear it's indistinct, a voice in the background. Something guttural.
I assume it's not speaking space English, so
It's too indistinct. It's not really even words. It's like maybe it's saying something, or maybe it's a guttural.
yep. I mean, I've got a 5, so I can't really ask questions.
You can
I just
so
knocked
you
a
can
little-
ask me one question, but I may not answer it.
can I tell that it's a human voice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Weird
Yeah.
sounding
Again,
human, if so.
I not like it's a wooden door, right?
Hmm.
I shrug and I'm getting frustrated with this. Knock loudly. Hello? Is anyone here?
Um, the
Quali?
sound that you heard that kind of continues stops, um, and you hear a voice call down. Yes. Who is it? Who are you?
Uh, I'm Marjorie.
Oh, yes, yes. Forgive me.
Oh, not at all. I'm sorry to disturb you. We wanted to thank Quali. We're leaving soon to head back to our ship.
There's no response, but in a second you see the chieftain, dressed down, if you will, some sort of sleepwear.
Yeah, and I give him like a polite, shoulder bow.
He nods. He looks exhausted. Deep circles under his eyes. He looks like mildly not really paying attention, and says, "Forgive me."
Distracted.
Distracted, and he comes up and says, and opens the door and gestures you and says, "Forgive me. It is usually my job amongst our people for the leader to welcome people into his home, and
Oh, not at all. You've been very welcoming. Thank you, chieftain. And I give him kind of a bow again.
but
In
he
fact,
gestured and he actually turned away and walked back upstairs and says,
I give follow.
roll,
Yeah.
yo, so why don't you both roll me real quick, or tell me what you say to him. Repeat again, I guess. What do you say to him?
I say, he said it's my duty as chieftain to welcome people into my home, and I say, oh, not at all. You've been very welcoming. Thank you for
What
the
did you want of
feast.
him beforehand when he heard you? What did you ask
I
about? Yeah,
wanted
remind me.
to thank Quali for her help, and that we would be leaving soon.
Okay, both of you roll me a persuade check.
Three.
And is that that's
Charisma.
a 3? Oh shit. All right. Well, I'm at a 0 at least.
Damn.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I will take that one.
So Maddie, she came in. She hasn't said a word, and she's looking suspiciously around like soldiers do at the surroundings.
Assessing the tactical threats and usefulness. Yeah.
And then suddenly his wife comes in.
Yeah, no.
He's like, "What are you doing?
And
Are you
unleashes
playing
the
video
guard
games
dog.
again?"
No, so sorry. So he kind of looks askance, but nods to you, Margie, and says, "You both may enter. Come, I have something to show you."
Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay.
I also
He
have
leads you up these stairs. Very beautiful, like reddish mahogany-like wood, gorgeous polished staircase. He's
I
leading.
like your apartment full of rich mahogany, many leather-bound volumes. No, as we're going up, I say yes, thank you. I actually had a gift for you, chieftain. A little something personally for me. Again, to thank you for both your and your daughter's help.
He turns and says, It's very kind of you. I appreciate you asking after Quali. She spoke well of you, which is rare for her and rarer for our people in general. So I would like to show you something first."
Yeah. And does he say like he might not, if he's distracted, he might not notice? But again, big like claw, paw or whatever.
He hasn't
Doesn't.
acknowledged
Okay.
it.
Does. Okay. Yep. So yeah, I'm going with him.
Yeah, so as
And
you get
I'm
up to
like
the
thumbs upping
balcony,
to Maddie, like this is going
so
well.
he gestured for you both. So Maddie, if you want, you can follow, or you can stay.
Yeah, I would follow.
You wouldn't not gonna leave Margie
Just
by
stay
herself.
relatively quiet.
Yeah.
I have no
So
idea
when
what's
you get
about
up
to
to
happen.
the second level, which is a balcony area that overlooked the entrance foyer where you guys were, you didn't notice before, but when you get up there, you notice hundreds, maybe not hundreds, tens of heads of game, You see several of the lizard-like creature, the siphon that you killed, but bigger, clearly older, and they have like a spreading. I don't know what do you call it,
like a beard, like a
no,
turkey.
not like a beard thing, but like a fin like thing that lizards tend to have, like a
Yep.
sail. Like clearly, this is a big
Oh,
a
yeah.
dominant male, and this is its display, and it's clearly displayed. Its bust, its mount, like emphasizes that this was an old beast, and you can see that its head alone is maybe a 1.5 times the size the one you saw.
Nice.
There's
Yeah,
several of those.
and as we
And
go
other
along, and
horrifying things of
Yep.
large size and varying sizes.
as we go along, I'm like, wow, that's a lot bigger than the one I killed.
He looks back and actually like looks up and says, "I was younger once," but he doesn't say much more. Keeps walking on down the hallway.
I just nod and I'm like, yeah, so was I.
Yeah, you see other things. Something that looks like what we would call like a raptor, velociraptor like head. A couple hairy things. Like most things are either like hairless, but there's a couple things that are smaller that have like long, like you were talking about, bushy or like some sort of ape-like creature, but has bushy eyebrows and bushy facial features.
It's a Neanderthal.
It doesn't look that threatening. Yes, Sasquatch. It doesn't look that threatening, actually, in its hang, but there's only one or two of them. So whatever it is a rarity. Who knows?
Mutant humans, they're hunting for sport. That's fine.
There you go.
The most dangerous game.
He leads you down a hallway and then turns into a door, and you're clearly into a young girl's room.
How clearly? Like, because I imagine she doesn't have, like, dolls and shit around, right?
No, there's some carved. They clearly don't do like hair in your arm, but there's carved dolls laying on the ground and like toys. Some that are obviously toys. And a canopy-like bed pointed up. And a very sick-looking girl lying in the bed. Extremely ill. Like when you walk in, you can see that her chest, as it rises, flutters as it reaches the top, and seems to catch. And she's not breathing well. And actually, you can see in the room a case of pharmaceutical supplies opened, and things have been put out and employed in some way. So, and the chieftain Jefferson said, "This meet my second daughter, Escli."
Escli. I look at Maddie and I mumble, "Do you have deck medical?"
Maddie quickly thinks about if she has it.
Yeah, like
and
I
says,
don't. I don't have medical.
No, I don't.
Shit. So I just have a compad. I don't have a scanner. Yeah, I don't have like a role that I can do. So I guess I ask him and I say, is she the only one that's sick? Or are there many others with...
He looks over...
And I let it hang.
Yeah, he looks over, cross, and then shakes his head and exhales and says, You would know nothing. No, it is... The drugs, the medicine helps all our people. But most do not take it. It's not worth the difficulties that Outworlders provide. Other tribes they'd rather make it on their own, but they would gladly trade with us for those supplies. But for us, we accept the... He looks up and says, "Forgive me the taint of working with an outsider to... I would do anything for my daughter. My wife is gone, and Quali is busy running the duties I have as chief that I cannot take to also be a father."
I nod and I say, I understand. I apologize if our presence dishonors you at all, but
he looks cross-eyed a minute and goes shh, like to like shut you up basically.
Yeah.
And then he actually goes and he's been looking at his daughter this time, and he goes over next to her and picks up her wrist and puts his hand against it.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything, he's probably feeling for a pulse.
Oh,
Her
well,
pulse.
thankfully she's still
I mean,
alive.
she's breathing, right?
Yeah,
So.
no, but he's testing her pulse. He's
Okay, he's timing her. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and actually, yeah, if you turn, his head's turning. You look. There's actually is something like a clock that's on like a little mantle in there. It's ticking. Doesn't have sound. But I mean that's some pretty intricate machinery to have when you don't have metal.
Yeah.
And it's not metal on the outside, so could have metal pieces inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's checking your pulse. That's it.
Yeah, so I like wait for him to be done, I guess, and I pull out the carabiner and I say, I know you were interested in trading for metal, and I noticed you don't have a lot of it in the village. Do your people find it quite valuable?
He pauses and before he answers you, he actually takes a dropper of something and drops it into the girl's lips. She almost has no hair left. It's clearly wasted away, some sort of wasting sickness. Prognosis
That's no
unclear without having a more intense medical examination. And he turns back and sees the carabiner you're holding up, right?
Yeah.
And says, metal is rare on this planet. It is a mark of extreme wealth. And then he gestures, and he takes you outside and into another area where it seems to be something equivalent to a study. Like there are bound, not volumes, but rolled like parchment type stuff. Looks like they have paper too. And he points above his mantle where there is a beaten and like tarnished old, looks like some sort of scimitar or sword, and it's clearly displayed proudly above the mantle. And it says, he goes, the mark of my office. He gestures.
Yeah, and I think actually while he was and I realize it's a bit retroactive, but could I have like enabled comms while he was explaining sort of the whole village?
Yeah. So maybe when he took you out of his daughter's room, you enabled comms, or
Sure.
what do you want to do retroactively? You want to go back further?
I guess like as he was
Just let me
leading
know
us up-
what you want to have said.
Yeah, as he was leading us up the stairs, this he seemed kind of distracted, so it could have been dangerous.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I could have just like
No, yeah, that's fine. So everyone, you're going to comm channel to everybody else, including Tekla and Oleg.
No. Just to because I open it up to the party like speed dial.
Got it.
So Maddie, you'd get like the thing in your earpiece, and then Leon and Selfie, you'd also get it, and you'd hear quick 3 tones, which is just like a simple signal, like I'm putting on audio
Sweet.
for you.
Okay. And so
Yep,
we've
so-
heard
so
this whole
you heard-
combo?
Yeah,
Yep,
so you heard
basically-
like the
basically you've
daughter
heard
of the
all
village.
of this, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And probably the first thing you would have heard is, oh yeah, the one I shot wasn't nearly that big. So you get the idea. Like we weren't in trouble right away.
Yeah, so you guys have listened. You maybe don't pick up the nuances of the daughter. Remember, he didn't mention much about her. He just says she's been ill for a long time. And you can hear some coughing in the background, you guys. But other than that, so we're caught up. That's fine. Yeah, so he points to this sword and says, "This is a symbol of office." And he looks. Metal is prized. We trade for it here. If others find it, we We display it. It is valuable. It marks. He searches for a word and says, potency?
And I hold up the carabiner. I say I was asking for directions to your home, and I offered this to someone who pointed me the way, and she touched it and dropped it, and didn't seem to want
He
it.
reaches out and takes it from you,
Yeah,
and feels it, and then says, "It is metal, yes." And he looks at you and is like, stifles a laugh. Is like, she was right to refuse this. It would indicate she is claiming to be higher than her station.
I thought for a second I might have gotten myself a wife by accident.
He looks confused at that and is like, a wife, is this term incorrect? A wife is female to husband male, correct?
Yes, I didn't know if offering such wealth as a price for marriage might have been common. And perhaps she didn't find me to her liking.
No, you were making a social statement on the hierarchy of the town that was ignorant at best.
Well, I apologize.
He waves it off and gestures you to leave. And you see, actually, if you glance around there, you see other bits of metal. None of it is worthwhile or
Sure. Does
worthwhile in
he
the sense that it's not mechanized or engineered in any way. It's just pieces of metal in some way. So you see actually like a little plate maybe from an old ship that that some sort of craft that has been detached.
Sure.
There is hanging on strings like a bunch of nails and screws. The sword is intact, but it's not kept up. They don't know. They clearly
they don't
know.
polish it.
Yeah, they don't know.
It's
They don't
rusty.
know that it needs polish or that it could possibly be something else, right?
Yeah.
They have no experience with metal.
Sure. So does he like keep the carabiner?
Yeah. So if he took it from you, he sets it on a little table there. He doesn't do anything with it at this point.
Sure. Well, I kind of gesture to it, and I don't know what would be appropriate, but I wanted to give both you and your daughter something. And I rifle through my bag, and I pull out and reassemble the like shotgun that I got before.
Okay.
Yeah, I beat up some tunnel. We beat up some tunnel rats, and I parted out a shotgun. So I like reassemble it, and I say it's I know you asked for these in trade, and we couldn't give you all of them, but this is a weapon of our people, made of wood and metal. And I uncock it and I say, "Are you familiar with how this is used?"
He takes it and says, and holds it up. He actually grips the barrel and goes like this with it, like you would with the sword. With the
I
button.
say, if I may, chieftain,
And he puts his hand out and looks at it, and then puts it down, and looks at you and does the motion and figures out how to open the barrel up where you'd put the shells.
Yep.
And then he looks and then nods a second and relatches it, and then he looks at the wood on the handle and runs his hand along it very carefully and smells it, and then frowns and says, it is an impressive piece, no doubt. I could not accept it from you. You've already given me more than a gift I should receive from an outsider. We had
Then
a fair trade, and...
Yep, and I take it back and I say, then this shall be your daughter's gift.
He looks a moment askance and says, perhaps...
I was going to give her the carabiner. I point to
No,
I point to
you
the
may offer it to her.
Of course, if she feels it is too much, then.
He nods and he actually gestures you and leads you out of the room and back down into the lobby. Both of you, I guess. And in the lobby, he stops and collects himself a little bit after this kind of interesting exchange, and he looks a little less tired now after talking, and says, "You have seen now our reasoning. Stay clear of the priests, in particular Holkadl. You have met him, yes, or seen him.
We have.
He holds with the more traditional ways, and many of the people agree with him. They I don't know how it works in your society, but for us, the power, the charge of keeping the people safe is it's a duty that he and I share. Do you understand?
I look at him kind of curiously, but yes.
He is. We do. I am chieftain, but chieftain does not do everything. It is a. It is a joint project,
Too much for one person.
and
It takes a village.
he understands my motivation. He looked upstairs at that moment, but I would stay away with him and stay away from the lands of the other clans. You will find them to be different than us. Their ways are more conservative.
Thank you for that piece of information.
You will find Quali over at the washing area.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chieftain.
He nods and he shows you the door, but then just turns and goes back upstairs.
So, was I getting the idea from him that, like, the gun would be way too much?
Unclear what his take on it was. He didn't answer your "Do you know how to use it?"
I was gonna show him.
Yeah,
He
no.
didn't. He didn't care.
Yeah, I mean,
I ain't want no parts
you
of
don't need
that.
to make a roll on it, just like so you know. Like it seemed like nothing there that was metal was being used in any way that
Was
was
decorative.
associated. Right.
Yeah.
Who knows if they would actually use the shotgun? Maybe it means more to have that as a symbol rather than as a.
Sure. A mantelpiece hanging.
Yeah, like or he would look at it. Maybe the proper way, as his eyes would do it, would be to put it in the equivalent of an umbrella stand, and that's like
Yep.
the way to display it.
And if someone breaks in, you hit him with it.
Yeah. So I have to use the restroom. So why don't we actually break, even though we don't have a ton of time, and come back in 5 minutes?
Gotcha.
All right.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back within 5-7 minutes. See you guys soon.